so the drummers are going to take over of how we planned that. It was super spontaneous, and how it happened was pretty interesting.
So this was not planned until early March, or even late February, early March. And we had no idea we were going to go to Indonesia this year. Some of you know, my classmates who are here, that I went to India for the mission trip in January. And to go on another international trip, that was kind of impossible in the same year and in the span of less than 6 months. And so we were planning as a group to go on a music tour to California originally. But we were all at the house planning this trip. We were all looking for tickets to California, looking how much will it cost, what our budget will be. And then here my sister comes, and what did you say?
I was like, usually from California, it's cheap to go to Indonesia. At that time, our family was thinking of going to Indonesia, but it was like really subtle. It was not really in our mind, so we were just like, I was just like, just might as well just try, just in case. And so I looked up tickets from California, and they were pretty cheap. And I was like, oh, how about probably from New York will be almost the same. So I checked up from New York, and the dates that our family planned to leave to Indonesia, the end of April, it was just $100 cheap, more expensive than going to California. So going to California from here would be around $350 round trip, and our flight ticket to Indonesia was just $450. So we were like, might as well just go to Indonesia, even though it's so far away, it's gonna be a great opportunity. So we just decided to go to Indonesia.
Yeah, so that's what happened. So we then talked to our group here, and we're like, guys, let's go to Indonesia. And they're like, what? Indonesia? And then, yeah, we're like, Indonesia. And Johan couldn't believe it because he also just returned from Indonesia late last year. And he was like, going to Indonesia again? I mean, I wouldn't mind. So we thought this was all a dream. We were just thinking that, oh, maybe our parents are just talking about this. We were not taking this seriously at all. But then when we started seeing that they were booking tickets and they were telling us to raise money, and they were all like excited to go. That's not usual for our parents, all of our parents, to be excited to go on a tour and spend this much money. Yeah, that was kind of impossible. But we saw this and we're like, oh my, this is serious. And so they booked the tickets, and we're like, wow, we're going to Indonesia, guys. All of us are going to Indonesia. And so even Johan couldn't believe it, but it all worked out as if we didn't really put an effort. It just all flowed out, just together. And we saw how God really led, and this is probably why God wanted us to go. And when we went there, we saw how it was a great blessing, and I believe God led it all. So our trip went like this. Our family went first, end of April, and then the Vegas showed up the first week of May. And then the Marianos showed up the few last weeks of May, correct? Yeah. So first, we drove up to New York, and it was all smooth. The flight was smooth. We arrived in the capital city. We flew to the light school. If for some of you who were here this morning, my parents gave a report of the light school that we have over there. And so we were there for a week. And then we had to ride a 15-hour train ride all the way back to the capital city to meet up with the Vegas and to pick them up. So now it's the Vegas turn.
Okay, so to go to this trip, we have been together as a group since 2012, and in late 2016, middle of 2016, we released a CD, and from then on, we were playing in different churches and selling CDs, getting donations. So we had saved up about $4,000 for a future trip. You know, we always wanted to go to some international trip, but it was super, almost impossible. We were like, we're growing up, some of us are going to college, we're doing different things, but it happened. And so thankfully, we have this money set aside. But it wasn't enough completely for the entire trip. We have plane tickets to pay for, and traveling over there in the country already, and staying at different places if we had to. So we did have to raise more money, and if you guys remember, in the few weeks before we left, we were selling samosas and spring rolls every Sunday at the country store, and churros too. That was all for the mission trip, and we were also sponsored by a few churches that we played at in the surrounding area. And so we were able to raise enough money for that. So our goal was another 2,000. Did we reach it? Actually met it we had 3 weeks to fundraise before the Jammies left. So thankfully we did raise that enough money. So the Jammies left end of April. They were there for a week. And then my sister and myself and Abang Johan were gonna go in the first week of May. We left May 3rd from here. And my mom was gonna come a week later. So originally we were supposed to play at Bali Bible Camp, but we weren't able to do that. But our tickets were already bought, so we were gonna leave a week early. Our trip going over there started off kind of rough. Already here in the States.
Before
We
we
hadn't
even
even left. So many of you know we encountered an accident on the way up to New York. Just reaching there, we were crossing the bridge into New York. We were 20 minutes away from JFK International Airport, and we totaled our rental car. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but Abang Johan as the driver, he was responsible for me and my sister, and my mom wasn't there. He totaled the car. It was a rental. So he was pretty bummed and pretty depressed. So it was a really tense trip on the way to Indonesia, and we had 15 hours on a flight to China, and then a 12-hour layover, and then another 7-hour flight to Indonesia with the stress of a car accident on the back of your mind that you have to pay off. So you want to say something? So we did arrive, thank the Lord, nothing happened. We had that accident, no one was hurt, we made it. Thankfully, my mom didn't freak out as I thought she would. I called her, so we were in the airport, I called her, my sister grabbed the phone from me because she's like, Becky, you're gonna cry, I'm gonna talk to Mom. And I was on the verge of tears. So we arrived there, thank the Lord, safely, and we met the Jammies, and from there we started our tour officially, pretty much.
So our first stop is Wildwood String. So we did a Wildwood String quartet first. It wasn't a complete group. So Wildwood Strings quartet. So this is Indonesia. How many of you guys know where Indonesia is actually located? All right, yeah. So Indonesia is Southeast Asia. It's right above Australia, right under Malaysia. So Malaysia is like right above. Philippines is also right above us. So we're all those little islands. How many islands do we have? 17? 17,000 islands. Yeah, so let's see. So all of this, from this red, all of here, yeah, all of that. So that's Indonesia. Now the island that this is Jakarta is the capital city, and this is the only island that we were in, the whole 1.5 months that we were there. Yeah, so we landed in Jakarta, and this is the Java island that we were in, a little closer up. So the first church that we went to is called BSD SDA Church. This is actually our family church. My uncle and cousins all go to this church, and here we had our first full concert. But since we all just arrived, we kind of started feeling sick. We were not feeling so well. But God pulled us through this one, and we had a great experience here. The young people was one impression that it gave me, is that their young people are very on fire over there. That they all come to AY, they all participate. The church is packed, just for AY is packed. And they're very responsive. So that really made an impact on me and our whole group. And they give us a little bit of something to remember them by, little mugs. And then on Sunday, Becky, do you want to talk about this on Sunday? Oh, audit?
So this concert that we played at, we were invited, but most of us didn't know. Actually, all of us didn't know. They actually contacted my parents. During the whole tour in Indonesia, we were basically just following what our parents said. So they're like, you're playing here on Sabbath, you're playing here on Sunday, you're playing here on Monday. We're like, okay. All we did was follow along. So this concert, we didn't actually know what it actually was. We just knew we were playing on Sunday in something. We didn't know it was a concert. We didn't know if it was a church or what. So then we saw this poster that said, it had our face on it. It had not our face, but our group picture on it. And it said, Wildwood Strings, it said that school's concert featuring the Wildwood Strings, tickets available from, how much?
7,000 rupiah to 100,000 rupiah,
Which is like
no, a million
50
rupiah.
cents to $100. And we were like, what? What are we playing for? And then we found out in the end that this was a fundraiser to build a school, an Adventist school. We found out when we got to that concert. So we were pretty happy to play, happy to help them fundraise for this Adventist academy. And it was pretty big. Actually, the governor of Indonesia was invited, but only his assistant got to come, or secretary came. And the place was pretty full. It was a really big concert, and it was around 5 hours long. It was pretty long, but we endured it, even though all of us were feeling unwell, very sick, and especially my sister and Abby, they were not feeling well. But we pulled through the concert by God's help, and it was a blessing.
Yeah, so this is actually not only one Adventist academy, but it's all of the Adventist academies that are in Jakarta, the capital city of Indonesia. So it was pretty big. There was a lot of children from playgroup until 12th grade, seniors.
Yeah. So she's gonna talk. On what day was it? So after TBA, this was Monday. The next day.
Monday.
Wow. Okay. So the next day we got invited to play at Macario's Christian School. This school also participated in a TBAA concert the day before, and this was also spontaneous. We also didn't know. It was like, so Abang Johan came to us. He's like, so tomorrow you guys were playing at a school, about an hour drive away, and we're gonna go play there. We're like, oh, okay. So, just so you know, Jakarta is hot, terribly hot, but it's not as humid as here. Here it's more humid, but there it's super, super hot, and the traffic is terrible. So, like, from here to drive to Hamilton Place takes about, 20 minutes, 25 minutes? A distance from here to Hamilton Place Mall, downtown, can take almost 2 or 3 hours in Indonesia, in Jakarta. So, the traffic is really, really terrible, and so Macario's school was actually not that far away from where we were staying in Jakarta, but it took us about an hour to get there. And it was a really, really hot day. However, we were immensely blessed. I think this is my favorite place in Jakarta that we were. We had a mini concert for the high schoolers in their morning devotion. They were starting a week of prayer, and we opened it for them. And they enjoyed it really well. They were also planning on starting their own strings group. So we were privileged to be over there and to inspire them a little bit to join and stuff. Then afterwards, we went to play for the little kids and from grades K to 4. And Abby was super popular with these kids because we're from America and she's the only blonde. So they were like, wow, this blondie.
Well, just light-skinned people for them is amazing. This little kid here in the corner, he was the most excited to see us. He was like hyperventilating when we went in the room. he was running everywhere and asking us to sign his forehead and his paper. And it was a lot of fun, but the different classrooms were actually pretty different. The classroom he was in was pretty crazy, and the next one, they were really well-mannered, and they stood up and greeted us. And then we met these kids here in the hallway that were already ready there to meet us. And we played for them, and one of the girls knew violin, so she also played. And then we went to these little kids here. They're running around everywhere. They wanted us to go there to play for them to try to calm them down. I don't know if it worked, but we tried our best.
So, before that, so after we played for the kids and we had the mini concert, we went to some office and we were talking with the pastor, with the director, the chaplain of the school. He was actually a missionary pastor from the Philippines, and the director of the school as well. And this school, Macario's, is actually one of the most developed schools. And they were telling us that they were so thankful for us to come because actually the Adventist population of the school is less. There's the 74% of the students are non-Adventist, right? About 75% are non-Adventist students, and the rest are Adventists, but for the most part, they're not. They have other Christians, they have Muslims, they have Catholics, they have non-Christians, and Hindus and Buddhists too. So it's a very diverse religion group of the students, and to see children, young people like us playing there and of the faith, it was also very inspiring for them as well. And they want to start a health training program as well. They were asking us if we could send people over there, and just to keep them in your prayers, they want to expand more. They, being developed more than other schools, are also trying to help other schools as well. So just to keep Macario's schools in your prayer, Macario's Christian school in your prayer, because they are going quite far, trying to go quite far.
So the next one is Jakarta International SDA Church. This is where we all freely spoke English. I think there's a picture. So here we went Sabbath morning, just for our Sabbath, and we were privileged to be there together with Randy Skeet. So it was a revival meeting that they had, and Randy Skeet was doing it since like Friday or Thursday, and we were there for the Sabbath, and we were very privileged to hear him speak, and we also had a concert in the afternoon for the AY program, and here we were even more,
we were so surprised, inspired, and like, I don't know, kind of mind blown, and I don't know, the word, we felt low compared to what these young people. So this low picture, the bottom picture is the AY group, the AY team in that church.
Just the attendance of how many people actually attend AY, and to see their faces, they're all young. It just made us like, oh wow.
They're excited.
Yeah,
excited.
it was
They're all listening.
It was really nice. It gave us like encouragement even to do a concert for them.
Yeah, we stayed all the way from morning worship all the way until the end of AY. Everyone stayed. Like nobody left until the closing of the Sabbath. They all stayed. They were all attending and listening.
Yeah, so I talked with one of the team members, and I asked him, I was like, so how are you guys staying here the entire Sabbath? Like, we got there at about 9. We got there about 8:30, and there was already a lot of people in the church, and it was still half an hour till church started. And most of them were young people. The attendants are young people because the young people are the ones that speak English mostly. So most of the attendees are young people. They were there the whole time. If you know how Randy Skeet speaks, he can preach. So it was a long service, and it lasted a long time. There was only lunch break and a small break, and after that it was his sermon, our concert, and then his sermon, and then we played some more, and then there was a closing Sabbath, and then we finally ended. And hardly anyone left. The church was packed from morning to sundown.
So then we got an opportunity to also play in the Adventist University of Indonesia. We thought this was impossible, but it got arranged with our parents. Yeah, everything was our parents. We owe a lot to them. And so we got to play in their Wednesday prayer meeting. And even though there was not a lot of students, because it was already summer break for some of them, except for the ones graduating, but we got to play there. And we saw also in them an interest for spiritual things. We got to talk to some of them afterwards, so that was a privilege. It's a beautiful campus, by the way. And then the next day, in the same city. So this is actually 2 hours away from Jakarta, but because of traffic and everything that goes on, it was like 4, almost 5 hours away. So this is the Adventist hospital, the first one ever in Indonesia. My mom graduated from here. My dad worked here after he graduated college. So, yeah, my mom worked here as well. And we got the opportunity to play there on a Friday where they have a worship for all of their staff. their nurses, their doctors, everyone that works in the facility has worship together Friday morning. And we got to play there. My parents also got to speak there. And if you were here this morning, my parents mentioned a little bit of how the hospital and its director, or the president of the hospital, is very interested in lifestyle medicine. And they started a year ago opening a lifestyle center, I guess, inside the hospital, which is a part of the hospital. So they're really wanting to get to know more about lifestyle medicine. And this is the video. Oh, should we play? Oh, the video was misplaced, but this is the Macarios Christian School. If you guys can play it. We played for the kids. We asked them what song they wanted us to play, because most of them are just regular Christians. They're not Adventist.
So we played for them.
So they wanted us to play You Raised Me Up, and they sang along with us. So that was a really, really special experience. They were really sweet. Okay. So now our next stop, this is the third week we were there. We went to Central Java. So if you saw the island, we were on the west side of the island, and then now we're in the Central Java, and we played in Yosodipuro Church.
This is in the city of Solo.
Oh yeah, in the city of Solo. And this is where AFCO Indonesia is. So a lot of AFCO students are there. And then you'll see a little bit there. There's 2 Americans there. Yeah. And they speak fluent Indonesian. One of them are married to an Indonesian and has lived there for 6 years. They're both graduates from Southern, I believe. Yeah. Oh wait, one is graduating. Yeah. And yeah, the one on the right. So we got to meet some American people, and they're teachers in AFCO. Yeah. So here are when the Marianos joined us. You want to talk a little bit of where you were and how you got there?
Yeah. So it was the reason why we were not there for a part of the trip is because we went to Israel to visit family, and when we arrived here in Wildwood, we had 3 days to pack and then go to Indonesia. So it was quite interesting. Of the jet lag also with the hours and everything. When we arrived from Israel, it was pretty interesting with driving again to New York and paying all the tolls, and layover in China, 12 hours, and then Jakarta, and then stay another for 12 hours in the airport to wait for our next flight to go meet them in Johan's town, Surabaya.
About our layover in China, so we booked a 12-hour layover because we thought we were going to be able to go out and see Shanghai. And we were so excited about that, but every time we went, they went, I went, my mom went, then they came. Yeah, they didn't allow us to go out. So we were stuck in the airport for 12 hours, but, we ended up going to Indus, and it's fine.
Yeah. So yes, this is Johan's church. He was here since he basically grew up here in this church. They were very welcoming. We were able to play for special music and also have a concert in the afternoon as well. And yeah, this is where they also have an Adventist school here in this place. Yeah.
Then on Sunday in the same city, Bang Johan had some friends there who are not Adventist, but they are from a Protestant church. And they invited us. They came to our concert on Sabbath at his church. And then they're like, can you also play in our church tomorrow morning? So we were very privileged to play at a Sunday church in Indonesia. And his friends invited us. and we were there for their service, and we got to interact with some of their young people as well. We had their potluck as well together. And I think music is not only just for the sake of music, for the sake of pleasure, but we are trying to make it a witnessing tool, right? And music is supposed to be always glorifying God. And so here we really saw how music should be a witnessing tool to reach others to the truth. And so here we are very privileged to be used by God as his tools to witness to our brothers and sisters, our Christian brothers and sisters, even if they don't worship on the same day as we do. But it's an entering wedge, like the health message, right, is an entering wedge. And I believe also that we can use music to reach the heart of people, to receive the truth. And even while we were there, some people asked the questions, like, why do you guys use music to reach others for the gospel? And I think we all have our own testimonies, but even while we played here in the States, we saw how music can lead others to have their hearts open to God. And we saw how God touched their hearts through our music. And we are really blessed. We're really blessed to be used by God through music to open others' hearts to God. And this was our last Sabbath. Our last Sabbath there we spent in Dieng SDA Church. Now, Dieng SDA Church is the church is the very closest church that we go to from the school, the light school. So at the Sabbath that we were having the concert, they were starting the 1-month course, the 1-month light course in Indonesia. And so we were there for their opening. They have an opening ceremony, and then we had our concert in the end. So we also got to see and were encouraged by the attendance of the youth, of the young people in Indonesia here again. And this was pretty sad because we felt like our trip was so short. And it was our last concert there, but we were very happy to be able to be part of this. Oh, and here, they also have an Adventist Academy here at this place. So this was the end of our trip, even though we did not do much. But God blessed us. We did not only play. Yeah, we did really get tired of playing the same songs every Sabbath, and speaking the same things. But every Sabbath, God showed us that we are not doing this to repeat things over and over again, but that it actually reaches people. And because of that, because we were able to serve him in all of these places, we are very privileged, and God also blessed us, not only playing, but we also got to go out and have a little bit of recreation, time of rest, and got to go sightseeing for a few days. Anything else? Okay, we have a video. Yeah, you guys can, yeah. These are our train rides, the 15-hour train rides.
With 20 luggages.
Yeah, 20 luggages. That was crazy. And the train doesn't stop really fast, so it just... This is the school, the light school. Surrounded by mountains. It's really up high. And there's always there's actually two. This is us when we're leaving. And this, we're going back on the train. to go back another 15 hours. So that's pretty much how the train looks like. We're there all night, and then until 10 a.m. trying to get all the luggage out. It took us a while to get all of that luggage out. It took us a while to get from the train station to the house. We had to rent 3 cars. One just for luggage. One car just for luggage. We were in total like 14 people. So, yeah.
So not even 20
luggage.
luggages,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, not all.
More than 25.
16 actually, luggages. And this is our takeoff.
Security was always
Yeah, security was always asking,
yeah.
what are those?
They're always curious what's inside that violin
And this is what we do in our 12-hour layover.
in
Yeah,
Shanghai.
we were really bored. We couldn't go out. And you know, China blocks Wi-Fi, so we can't use
You can't watch
Wi-Fi.
YouTube,
Can't
anything.
watch YouTube. Can't do
No
anything.
Google. No.
No Google. And then finally back home. And we're trespassing because of traffic. Yeah. So finally back at Wildwood. So we're gonna share a little bit what each of us really enjoyed in Indonesia and what really impressed and affected us. So we're gonna start with Aaron.
Okay, so I don't know why I was up here. I was just standing up here. So, okay, this is my time to speak. What I really enjoyed there was the food. The food was really nice. It was really spicy. My sister couldn't handle it, but so I had extra food from her. So, yeah.
What I really enjoyed in Indonesia was the involvement of the youth there in AY and the involvement of Sabbath and how everybody is so energized. Everybody, no, even though like I didn't get to experience like the whole trip, but the 2 weeks that I was there, that my family were there, in different churches, AY was such a big deal. And like 8:30 in the morning until 5, 6 o'clock in the night, like everybody's there and still the youth is very active there. And it really inspired me, especially now that I'm in college, to not only just go for church in the morning and then rest or nap in the afternoon, really do ministry in the afternoon or AY or do any kind of outreach that you do in the afternoon to really exercise your faith and to really respect God's Sabbath and how it can be memorable, especially in our younger years, in our youth. We can really remind us that.
She kind of took what the main thing was for all of us. That was what we enjoyed the most, the participation of the youth. And it really inspired us that we should be doing more of that here, that we have more opportunities and we have more, technically more than them, I guess, a little bit. And all the places we were able to go to, being together, having fun, and being able to minister through music. And I love the kids. I love the kids, especially at the Macarillo school.
Amen. So I really enjoyed the people. Well, first of all, going to another country. This was me and my sister only our second time going overseas. So the fact that we actually went to another country was super awesome, and that we were able to go together. Also, the people in Indonesia are so kind and welcoming. Like, the places we stayed at, we were staying in people's houses. We crashed onto Uli's brother's house for almost a week with 14 people, and we occupied every room they had. We kicked out their kids, and they had to stay in their parents' room, and they're adults. So, but they were super welcoming. Every place we stayed at, they made sure we had food, even though they made sure we ate first. And in Surabaya, we were staying with Abang Johan's parents' house, and they accommodated to us so well. For like my grandma and my mom aren't used to the food there because it's spicy, and sometimes in that section they like a lot of sweet with their food, and we were like, no, we don't like this. I mean, they have sugar in their salad, and we're like, what is this? They accommodated to us so well. They're like, oh, really? You don't use sugar? Like, oh, no problem. We'll just put what you want in it. And even though, they were eating it too, they probably didn't like the food they cooked for us themselves. But that was super special for us being the only non-Asians going there. And also the participation of the youth as well. They have a large youth group, and being part of the AY team here and an AY leader here, I was super inspired as well to lead more and to really do what they do. Because a lot of the times also, like we said, there's traffic. So it takes a long time to drive to church. Sometimes in Malang, they live like an hour away in the mountains, and they drive to church every Sabbath, and they stay there the whole day. So it was really inspiring to us, and the gladness of their hearts to see us playing and to see us coming to their churches all the way from America. That doesn't happen a lot, and we were blessed by blessing them, I think, a lot more.
In any trip, there's always something that happens that is not that pleasant. And of course, one of the things that happened was that we all got sick, except the Marianas, because they were only there for 2 weeks. But us four, in the first 2 weeks of being there, 2 weeks of being there, we all got sick. And it's not like a specific kind of sickness, because 1 hour we felt like we had a headache. At night, we feel like we have a fever, and then some of us have a stomach ache, then some of us get headaches, and then I got rashes only at night, and they were terrible, they were awful, and we all had something wrong with us every time we were going to have a concert. Like, oh, we need to go to the bathroom, but the concert's gonna start. Oh, what are we gonna do? It was really bad.
That kind of bathroom, like.
Yeah, because our stomachs were not working properly. But even though we were playing, we didn't seem like we were sick, but we were actually sick. But it goes away when we're up there, it goes away. Right before the concert, there's always something that happens to us. We either get a headache, or I said we need to use the bathroom for some reason. But every time we start the concert, we feel okay, we feel better, we feel fine. And after the concert, it's like nothing, we had no sickness before. And not only that, it also encouraged us. After every concert, they always come to us. And one thing about Indonesia, I think all Asian countries, is that social media is so big that every time we finish concerts, they're like, oh, can we have your Instagram? Can we have your Instagram? And we're like, huh? Can we take a picture with you? Can we take a picture? And we're like celebrities, but we're just like, okay. But it's really rewarding, because afterwards they come and talk with us, at least the ones that are brave, and then they thank us, and then they tell us how our ministry really is encouraging to them. So whatever happens before our concert, we all forget about. Our sickness, we all forget about, and we only remember the blessings that God gave to us through that concert. So it was truly a blessing.
For me, what really impressed me for the whole trip is that if it wasn't for God, we wouldn't have been able to do anything. I mean, this was not even planned. And it had to be God that put this all together, because we couldn't have done this at all. Financially, physically, everything, we couldn't do it. But to see how God made something that was impossible possible, I think that really affected me very much. And it wasn't to minister, to help them that are there, but it was to encourage myself, to be reminded that we as young people have a work to do. That's the whole message that I got in Indonesia. In every church that we played in, the fire that the young people had just continued to remind me what we need to do as Christians, as Christian young people, with the energy that we have. What are we going to dedicate it for? Are we going to dedicate it to the world, or are we going to dedicate it to God? So I think that was the big impression that it made to me through the whole trip. I think Abby has something to share really quick.
Like Kaylin was saying about the social media and how people are always asking for a picture and stuff like that. Well, we went to a water park for one day, just to take a break a little bit, and none of them wanted to go with me, but I really wanted to go on this flying jump thing, bungee jump thing. And so I went on it, and there were other people on it, and many guys were screaming and really scared to go on it. But then I just jumped because I've done it before, and I jumped really high. It wasn't really scary for me. So there are these few girls behind us that didn't really want to do it. But then after we came down, Kathleen was the only one that went with me, but she didn't go on. She just waited for me.
I was just there translating for her,
I couldn't
making
speak
sure she's
Indonesian.
safe because she has blonde hair,
So I did that once in America, and it's only like 5 minutes, and they stop it for you. So I'm here thinking they're gonna stop it for me, but no, they continue. I'm like, okay, this is getting hurtful. So I'm like, how do I make this guy stop? And then she finally gets it through. I'm like, okay, finally. And I'm like aching getting off. But then the girls come running after us, and they're like, oh, what's your name? Like, where are you from? And so we started talking with them. We were able to share with them.
And they were Muslim
And
girls.
they were Muslim. They were all Muslims.
And Muslims dress, sorry, Abby, they dress really modestly. So in the water park,
I still don't know how.
they're wearing pajamas
the
with their head covered.
long sleeve.
And these
long
are little
pants.
girls. They're
our age.
her age. The
My
oldest
age.
one is her age, 16 and younger. And they were all there on a school break, and so they were all there, and then they
Yeah.
were chasing Abby because they saw her like, wow, she did such an amazing job on that jumping thing. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we were able to talk to them, and they asked us where we're from. Got to tell them about Wildwood and that we're homeschooled. I don't think they've probably never heard of homeschool before, and that they asked us
Yeah, they were
certain
asking
questions,
us,
like what we
like,
were doing here, and we told them we're doing a music tour and stuff like that.
They were asking, what kind of music? Like,
Yeah.
where's your next concert? And they're Muslims, so they don't go to church.
Yeah.
And we're like, we're Christians. We are Seventh-day Adventists, and they have no idea what that is. But we tell them we go to church on Sabbath, and if you want to come to our concert, they were like, but where's your next concert? And we're like, it's in a church, nearby here if you guys want to come, obviously, but they couldn't come. Yeah, and so we don't know what that made in their hearts, but we even still talk to them today. Yeah, we
Some
still
of them
chat with
text
them
us.
today. And yeah, it was a great blessing to be able to make friends. They're very sweet people. Muslims are not what the world pictures them to be all the time. And the world is kind of cruel picturing them that way. But we got to make friends with them, and that was a real blessing. They were very nice.
Yeah, they were very chatty because many Indonesians or young people, they'll come to church. They're really they participate, but they're really shy to come up and talk to you. So they'll talk to us after, like on social media, but some of them would come up. But even on social media, when they're too shy to come up to us, they'll tell us how they've been blessed and that the music really touched them and that there are fans or whatever. And other people, this one girl texted me, and it was really impacted me. She was telling me how much it blessed her, and like when we play, she feels amazing, like she feels blessed, like she's in a better place or something like that. So it really blessed me to see how we could bless others.
Okay, this time we didn't tell our parents, but we're going to ask all of our parents to come up and say one or two words about, I don't know if you want to talk about us or the trip. Just don't say anything bad about us. Yeah. Yeah, so please, Auntie Berta, Auntie Vicky, Uncle Irvi, Mommy, Daddy. Yeah, you can stand up. Yeah, come.
Uncle Irvi, Auntie Vicky.
Auntie Vicky and Uncle Irvi. So, a few things that impressed you, what you want to, something you want to say. Whether it's about yourself, about us, about your experience. Yeah, all of you guys can come. Here.
Well, like the girl says, us being Hispanics, we only be in this side of the world. We never been in the other side of the world. So what I really, really liked about Indonesia is that the people are very respectful, very safe. The girls used to go at 9 o'clock to the street vendors, and they'll come home and it's safe. No, the men are not, I don't know, perverts, I guess. Sometimes, and I'm talking about my country, and they kind of look young girls like this, and they just eat them up with their looks. But it was pretty safe. And another thing that really impacted me is at the light school. As you see, it was very simple. They have very simple quarters. The food is very simple, but they are so willing to be there, and they're all happy. So it made me think, I was like, wow, if we can bring all the students from Wildwood and just stick them here in 1 month so they can see really what it's like. So when they cook simple food in the cafeteria, they'll know that other students that are willing in other part of the country who are really with sacrifice being in the school just for this type of training. So it helps us understand and appreciate more, what we have here in America.
Abuela, come. Just say something.
¿Qué le impactó más?
Me impactó. Translate. Well, impacts me the little school, because it's very simple, like my daughter said, and really, really is in the way of God. And the other things won't happen. Let me tell you. I say that? Can I say? Oh, no. No remember, yeah.
Diga qué.
Well, we went to Uli father in Bandan, and we say in the morning, we're going to the city. Okay, let's go, Johan said. We went there with Abby, Becky, my daughter, Kathleen, Johan girlfriend, and went to the city. And walking there and looking there. And then what happened? A lot of tree, big tree, and we passed there. And then, and then what happened? My daughter said, a lizard. My daughter cried. It's a lizard! When my daughter crying like that, other lizard fell down in the shoulder of Johan. And Johan's like, was so crazy. And we went over there, we said, oh, no, let's go. My daughter is very, it's very fierce scandal, So what happened there? But Indonesia is very good place. The people is very kind and very friendly and very nice, So we went to the store to buy the batiks, dresses, and it was a nice place. So we enjoy over there.
Well, this is our second trip to Indonesia as a family. But this time, I think what I missed so much there is the lifestyle here as compared to the lifestyle in Indonesia. Even in affluent families, you would not experience hot shower. That's one thing I missed in Indonesia. Even if it's cold. We were in a place where close to Australia. So Australia now is winter, right? So in that area, it's cold, really cold. It's like 60 degrees even noontime. You don't need a, it's really a really cool place. So if you have a chance to travel, you would think that you would like take it for granted, the one that you enjoyed here in America. You would think to realize that there's like something that you would like, to take the lifestyle here in America to a country like, a third world country like Indonesia. So, in my experience, it seems like we tend to take it for granted, our lifestyle here in Wildwood, just a simple hot shower you would miss, if you go to another country. That really thought, oh, I wish I could have a hot shower, but it's just in the morning, it's just cold shower, that's all you get.
What impacted me is actually it's just if only we have $100, we could go back. We could go to Philippines to extend our vacation. It's only $100, and we will be in the Philippines. And so we are really we're happy that we were able to come back to Indonesia, because we were there in 2006 when the kids were young. We were also with the same group, except the Vegas were not there, and so it was a very nice experience. The only thing is, when you go visit country and you don't understand the language, it's very hard for you. Even when you go to the market, you need a jamis to interpret everything. You want to bargain, you cannot bargain, and so you want the cheapest thing because you're missionary, you don't have that much budget, so you need the interpreter. But you really need to think, at least learn a little bit of language, how to go to the market. And when you think about it, you should just think like in the airport, wow, how many people there, in millions of people, how are you going to reach without, how can you say just hi to them, and for us especially, we just came from Israel 2 days before our trip to Indonesia, and we just came from a country that we don't understand the language, and we go to the other country, we don't understand the language. It's just like very hard. And so the thing that is really I like is the modesty of the dress. The Muslim country, we went to Israel, and they're very modest, almost, most of the girls, they are just no naked thing in spite of the summer hot. But you go to Indonesia, the same thing. I say, wow, this is a dress, very, very good example for especially during the summer. You almost go to the countries where you don't, you want to show everything because it's so hot. But there, they cover their head from head to toe, and they are just very, decent. So I really learned that it's wherever you are, you can be decent in everything.
For me, as the oldest of this group, taking care of the teenager is very challenging. Well, abuela is grandma, so your grandma, someone taking care of you. So anyway, if you see all of them wearing batik, this is we call batik. I hope that people doesn't think, wow, they got a lot of batik to buy, but actually Indonesian people, they really like to give. So mostly if you see them wearing batik, it's a gift. So yeah, some of them bought, but when you do the service in the church always give a batik to whoever the one that come. So for me and my husband, I think we got 3 pairs of batik the same. It's a gift. So they know we're missionaries. So, God provide everything that we need. So bring 6 of them, and Johan also including teenager, and Kathleen also a teenager. So for me, it's like a mother, and make sure they have a healthy food and good food, right? So Vicky, the Mariano, they come the last one, like 2 weeks before the concert almost done. So I always with them during the touring, but during the weekday, I'm not able with the string because me and my husband, we stay in the light school and teaching the 1 year students. And, the most, if we like Asian food, our students like American food. So the one that they really miss is spaghetti.
In that light school.
In the light school. And it's like, it's like the legacy food. And I'm thinking like, how I'm going to get this spaghetti. So I text Mariano and I say, listen, you're coming in 2 weeks. and please make sure brought me spaghetti
Country store.
from country store. And this is my Wildwood number. So I gave you my Wildwood number, card number to her, and I said, please bring as much as you can. So, so then when they arrived, and the first thing I asked, did you bring the spaghetti? And she said, yes. So, okay, I'm gonna get it from you. And they said during the weekday?
Yeah, during the
So anyway, during the weekday, I got the spaghetti from her. So I told the students that I'm going to cook spaghetti for you. And they are so happy, believe it. They are so happy. They're like, really? Yeah, it's from America, you know. And spaghetti is not my favorite food, but anyway. So we cook at the time because also the Wildwood stewing at the time, they are visiting the light school. So at the time, I had to cook for almost 40 people at a time. So I thank the Lord because the spaghetti more than enough. We cook like 3 big tray spaghetti. I mean, let me tell you, they just pile up the spaghetti all the time. Somehow they just love it. They finish it, the spaghetti. Oh, and there's also left one pan, one tray. And the next morning they eat the spaghetti again. So, you know, I'm just thanks the Lord. That's how the Lord can provide everything, you know, whatever the students need, God will provide it. So, and one thing that really blessed me also, during that time in Indonesia, we're not, the money that the one that we raise here, actually, we can say that it's not really enough because we travel so much. You know, we travel so much by the train, by the airfare. So during that time when do the concert, we have to sell CD. It's so amazing how these people, you know, interesting with the CD because the music, the one that they play, it was from hymnal. And they are so amazing that these young people play the hymnal, the music that they knew. So, you know, a lot of people give us money. We sell the CD like $5 each, and they don't mind just to pay $10. So through that offering and through the selling CD, that we're able to survive Indonesia. With God bless.
There's one time that when they played in Jakarta International Seventh-day Adventist Church, while they're playing, the people were singing. And that makes a big impact on me, and especially also our children, because when they do concerts, the people are quiet usually. But in that church, that international church, the people were singing because they knew the hymns, and they knew the hymns in English also. And even the audio video projector man, they put the words on the screen. So it impacted our children that were playing, and it was a beautiful concert because the church was participating. So that's one of the impression, that good impression. And our family spent more time also in the light school, as they were mentioning. And they just moved there about 2 years ago, I believe, to the new place where they were before. And it was a nice place. It was up in the mountain. And please pray for them because they were also struggling. And a lot of our self-supporting works also in Indonesia are flourishing, but they're also struggling because of lack of leadership. But the young people, mostly young people, the one that starts once they finish the one month school or 6 months light school, and then they start spreading everywhere and starts doing something, you know, and starts starting the ministry, starting their own ministry in their own home and all that. And it was a blessing to hear how they really get involved in the ministry. And a lot of young people are quitting their job and then starts to minister to other people. So please pray for the movement that we have in over there. Even though Seventh-day Adventist is less than a million people over there, because it's 260 million population, but only less than a million, which is less than 1% of the population, but they are growing. So please pray for the light school over there. We have another light school in another island, which is in the east, one of the island there. They also needs prayer, but they always, even though they lack of leaders, but they always go. I mean, their spirit is not diminished. And even though we have a lot of struggle, we have also some challenges in the light school that we went to, but with the Lord, everything is possible. So please pray for the movement over there, especially the light schools.
All right. Thank you, parents. We're going to end now. We did not expect to go this long, actually. We had almost nothing to say. But we're going to give just a few minutes. Does anyone have any questions? Just right before we end, yeah.
At what point did you think of giving tokens to us? At what point? Was it before you, or while you were there when you saw the participation of the AY, the youth in the AY, or at what point did you?
Here, actually. Here, my mom, was it at home, she told me? Yeah, right before coming to church, she was like, I have extra little tokens, and AY sometimes people come late, so why don't you give the people who come early a few little things from Indonesia? And since it went along the topic of the young people over there, then. All right, anything else? Okay, so we're gonna close with a closing hymn, if Heather can play the piano. Hymn number 330. Let's stand as we sing hymn number 330, Take My Life and Let It Be. We'll sing the first, second, fourth, and fifth stanzas. Take my life and let it be consecrated, Lord, to Thee. Take my hands and let them move at the impulse of Thy love, at the impulse of Thy love. Take my feet and let them be swift and beautiful for Thee. Take my voice and let me sing, always only for my King, always only for my King. Take my lips and let them be filled with messages from Thee. Take my silver and my gold, not a mite would I withhold, not a mite would I withhold. Last stanza. Take my You may be seated. I thank everyone for coming. We hope you were blessed and enjoyed the report. I'm going to ask Ishmael to come and close us in a word of prayer.
Let's bow our heads. Dear Lord, thank you very much for giving this group the opportunity to share not only testimony with us, but also an experience for us that are preparing for mission trips. Lord, may that experience they had in Indonesia mark their lives from now on. And in that way, they may be a blessing for many other people that may listen to their music and they uplift their eyes to high and see your face, Lord. Help us begin this week with your blessing, and help us be encouraged to know that you are guiding us, our steps, to do your will. Thank you for everything that you have made for them being there in Indonesia, and make their ministry grow according to your will. We ask you these blessings and we praise your name in Jesus Christ. Amen.